Lost Silver. You see, I am a simple college student living alone in an apartment. I was very excited about the release of Pokemon Heart Gold / Soul Silver here in the States. I had purposely locked myself out of all media and the internet aside from school purposes. That means no Facebook, no Twitter, no Reddit, etc. As I was busy with school year and being poor at the time, I wasn't able to buy Soul Silver on launch date. After my school years ended, I ordered Soul Silver on Amazon. However, it would take a week to arrive. I decided during the time I'd play my Crystal version on my Game Boy Color. However, I realized that long ago my mom threw it away because I told her to save when dead. She also threw away my Silver version, so all I had was my Game Boy Color. As such, I went to Gamestop and bought a used Silver version, as it's the only Pokemon game left that they had for the Game Boy Color. $10, very cheap despite it being GameStop. I went home, started out for a nostalgia trip. However, there were things started getting bizarre. Most likely the reason why you're reading this. The Game Freak logo started up as normal, but it just froze. I thought the cart was aired or something, so I turned it off on. Same thing. I tried pressing A and start to start over, and all of the buttons. Eventually the logo vanished. There was a black screen for 5 seconds. Suddenly, rather than going to the usual menu screen, I was already in the game, in the previous save file, which was odd. I was expecting all of these cards to have been wiped by the poor batteries. Either way, I wasn't complaining, as I would have chosen to continue my continue option to see what the previous guy had did anyways. First off, I checked his trainer's info. His name was ... He didn't have much originality. I checked his profile. He apparently had played for 999 hours and 99 minutes put into the game, with 16 badges and 999,999 Pokédollars, and all 251 Pokemon on Pokédex. Seeing as he apparently had Mew and Celebi logged also, I'm guessing he either used Game Genie or is a really hardcore Pokemon player back then. I checked his Pokemon to see what cool teams he has. To my surprise, I saw 5 unknown, and the 6th Pokemon named Hurry. I'm thinking, this must be some cruel joke by the person who last played this game. But I decided to check the profiles of these Pokemons anyways. As expected, there were different letters of the unknown, all level 5. I was a bit shaky with my unknown alphabet at the time, but I identified the word spelling out the word to be leave. As for the 6th Pokemon, it turned out to be a Cyndaquil. Mind you, this is before there were individual Pokemon icons. Cyndaquil looked normal, but it was level 5 and only 1 HP left, only 2 attacks, Leer and Flash. Don't know why they named him Hurry, but at the time I just disregarded it. The most eerie thing that was, despite my volume being at max, none of the Pokemon had said their unusual cries, just pure silence. Having enough of the team, I closed it. I was perked at what appeared to be a room inside a Bellsprout Tower. However, for some reason, there was no NPCs around. Even more eerie was that the pillar in the middle didn't move at all. And it was just leaning on its side. There was no music at all. There was no exit or ladder or at least a hole. I thought there wasn't. I walked around for a few minutes, but I can't seem to find a way out. This was certainly not a room I've seen in Bellsprout Tower before. I tried checking my items for escape rope, but the bag was completely empty. There wasn't even a wild Pokemon either. Finally, I managed to find a ladder, which turned out to be behind the pillar. The screen turned black. The music finally started playing. I had a sudden chill as I recognized that melody. I've heard it before. It sounded to be the theme you hear when you listen to the radio at the Alpha Rain, where the Unown are at. Immediately I realized that it wasn't a loading transition, but I was rather in the dark room. It would need flash. Before I took care of that though, I immediately checked my Pokegear to change the radio to something more pleasant. But it turns out there was no radio card, or even there was only a map card in which gold ... from earlier. I will call him Gold from now on. Was just walking in the midst of black. I recall Cyndaquil had flashed, so I turned off my Pokegear and made Cyndaquil use flash. I didn't see any message saying hurry and use flash, or anything like that. The room became lit just like that, and soon, regarding it, the room was a chilling blood red, when a linear gray path hidden south. The ladder I used to go up and down was not there earlier. Was not there at all. I had no choice but to head south. The screen got dark every 20 steps I made, until finally I made it to the end, which appeared to be a sign. I read the sign, which said, "Turn back now." Suddenly, I was asked to answer yes or no, but there was no question asked. I chose yes, as I do not know what it was asking. It was almost like from the movie Mewtwo Strikes Back, or for other people, Mewtwo Returns. And the screen back again, making a ladder climbing sound. The unknown radio music stopped. In a few seconds, was replaced with the not as creepy Pokeflute radio music. I was in another dark room, but I held my breath and used flash again. Suddenly it said, "Hurry has fainted," which was odd since I recalled that there was no stun condition, like poison on him. I clearly wasn't in a battle. I checked my Pokemon quickly and steadily, he no longer was in my party. In fact, after a bit of investigating, none of my Pokemon are there, but instead, all replaced with level 10 unknown. I did the same thing before and spelled out the unknown. Then my team of unknowns backed out. He died. Either way, after the creepy change, the room was lit to reveal myself in a very small room that appeared to be 4 squares big. The walls of the room were gray brick, as if I was inside something that was hollowed out. Inside the room appeared to be a bunch of graves, smaller to the ones in Pokemon Red or Blue. I've walked around that small room and pressed A and nothing happened. I've already concluded that this was clearly a hack game, and some sadistic fuck sold it to GameStop. However, my curiosity kept me going. I cracked the trainer profile of Triple Dot again, only to find that the Spear of Gold was missing his arms. He also seemed to be less smug, but rather some more sad and empty in a way that I did not know how to describe. For some reason, it also now said that he has 24 badges, which was clearly impossible. After a few minutes of armless wandering, my character suddenly spun and did the escape rope spin animation. Instead of flying up through, my character spun down. Instead of flying up through, my character spun down slowly, as if sinking. After the screen, the music stopped. After finally landing, the overworld Spirits of Gold is colored different now. Instead of usual red colored, he appears completely white now, including his skin. It's as if it came straight from a colorless Game Boy, placed in a color background of the Game Boy Color, of course. I cracked his profile now. Wall now is as white as his overworld spirit. He lost his legs and what appeared to be bloody tears from his eyes. It also says he has now 32 badges, which now starts to disturb me, as this change of number seems to repeat something important. The change of numbers seem to represent something important. I also checked my Pokemon, which this time contained 5 unknown and a level 100 Celebi without a nickname. The unknowns this time are level 15 and spelled out dying. I checked the Celebi profile. It was a shiny Celebi, except there was only half of the sprite. 1 leg, 1 arm, 1 eye, and only has 1 attack. Perish Song. The area I was in itself was the Sprout Tower with immobile pillars as before, except everything is apparently red now. I walked north for what felt like forever, Eventually, I finally encountered some generic men and women NPCs. They were all lined up, side by side, just facing the long, slanted pillar in the middle. They were also white. Nothing happened when I tried to speak to them. I kept going north until eventually the pillar finally appeared to be chopped off, with the transparent red in spot. I went up to red, and without even pressing A, I was suddenly engaged and finally in a battle. I sorta wanted to battle, but this chilling feeling just didn't really feel right. I mean, yeah, I've been waiting for a battle, but I didn't feel up to it. But I went on anyways. The music started again, which sounded like the Unown radio music again, but played backwards. Gold battle back sprite matched his front. Gold's battle back spirit matched his front one with the bloody eyes, white skin, and lack of arms, while red spirit was the same as before in GSC, except transparent. The text simply said, "Want to battle?" as if it has no name. And both of us only have one Pokemon each, which was weird as I swear I had 6 unknowns. My shiny Celebi came out, convincingly with half a sprite for a back spirit also. Back sprite also. The shiny noise and animation was different, as the sound it made sounded like multiple screeches attacks, used constantly. Red sent out a normal male Pikachu, except it's a level 225, and his spirit seemed sad, and his tears in his eyes. Rather than usual fight items, PKMN run menu, I was only given the option to attack. Since Celebi only has one, I chose it naturally. Since Pikachu was a level 255, he went first. Pikachu used Curse, lowered his speed and increased his other stats. I'm not even sure if Pikachu could use Curse. Celebi used Perish Song. In 3 turns, both Pokemon knocked out. Not like I have a choice. At the point, I didn't even go back to the fight menu, as the battle just continued without me. Also note that there was no animation at all for some reason. Pikachu used Flail, which didn't do much damage despite his level, and boost as his health was full max. Celebi used Perish Song. Nothing happened as it was already used. Pikachu used Frustration, which didn't shatter, which did a shit ton of damage, knocking Celebi down less than 10 health points. Celebi used Pain Split, which surprised me as Celebi didn't even have that attack in the first place. Now Celebi and Pikachu have about 150 HP. Pikachu used Mean Look, Not like he did anything. As expected, due to the effects of Parrish's song, my Celebi fainted. Except in the text it said Celebi had died. And instead of originally dropping off the screen, the Celebi's back spirit just vanished for some reason. The Pikachu was still up. Even with Parrish's song, it didn't count as my loss. Pikachu used one more different attack beyond the 5 attack limit. Pikachu used Destiny Bomb. Afterwards, it said Pikachu has died. With the slow fading animation, apparently I was a winner. As transition and transparent red spirit showed up and said triple dot all across the screen. At that point, I just freaked out, as the transparent red spirit was suddenly beheaded, leaving nothing but his transparent body. The battle then ended at that point, and faded out along with the music. I'm back in the overworld with another change to Gold Spirit. He now has transparent as Red's overworld spirit. I quickly checked my Gold's profile, where this time, the only thing that remained of him is his head, with the transparent skin. The head was zoomed in a bit, slowing a black void in his eyes. It now stated that I had 40 badges, then broke out and checked. Then I backed down and checked my Pokemon. They were all level 20 shiny unknown, which spelled out red. They were all level 20 shiny unknown, which when spelled out read no more. I was at what I know. I was at what I now know is next to the end. There was apparently no music playing, but for some reason I still felt like there was something that could have been heard. I was back in my room in New Brunktown. Maybe finally I'll get to play the game properly, but who am I kidding? I knew this sadistic fuck must have done something. I walked around my room interacting with things. I'm a bit afraid to go down the stairs to see what is awaiting me down there. Note, I said walked, as while the background was moving, Gold was not moving his transparent limbs while doing so, just floating like the ghost you see in Diamond and Pearl. As expected, the radio, computer, and TV did not work, so I had no choice to go downstairs. I ended up in the same lower level room of my house. Everything appeared to be normal, except Mom isn't home. After failing to interact with anything in this room, I decided to go outside. To my surprise, the door leading outside at the south didn't work, and instead of just walking straight through into a void, I continued moving south to see what the fuck was going on. My house vanished as I had headed south into the void. It was creepy, as when I entered the void, the outline on Gold's transparent spirit turned white, to contrast with the pitch black void. Eventually, I reached a white area and gold spirit turned black and transparent again. I continued south without thinking of stopping at all. After a long walk south, I finally encountered something. It was Gold's regular spirit. I talked to it and it said, "Goodbye, forever," and vanished. As that happened, it said, "Mystery used nightmare," which at that point, I would not deny it being possible. Gold did another escape rope animation, spun slowly downward like before. I'm now back in small, hollowed-out room surrounded by graves. Earlier, or at least I say I was back there, as there's no spirit anymore. I tried to walk around, but nothing moved. Not even a wall bumping sound was made. I checked my trainer's profile with absolutely no gold spirits left. It said I have no badges, and all of the pictures of Johto leaders were replaced with skulls. I checked my Pokemon. They were all level 25 unknowns. As expected, it spelled out a phrase, which I dared to read, but I did anyways. I'm dead. As soon as I went back to the old room, the room I was supposedly was in, then converted with the same black as the wall. I then figured out what exactly the room was when the final text was said, "Rest in peace." That room was a big grave surrounded by other graves. Gold has already died. He died presumably a few years after he defeated Red. He was a young trainer who, despite his efforts of collecting all the badges and attempting to become the next Pokemon Master, he was still unable to avoid his invulnerable fate of death. His efforts were eventually forgotten by the next generation. I was unable to escape from the text no matter what I pressed. I tried resetting the game, and the same thing happened. At which then I finally decided to give up the horrible nightmare. After that experience, I will never look at generic unknown the same way again. That said, that only the first generation have books and legends, but the second generation has shown me how unpleasant the truth can be. I eventually enjoyed Soul Silver amusedly, but I still cannot unthink what regards the game has told me. So it's basically telling me to get out. So I can't see shit. Let's see if we got. Nope, we don't got anything in there. Shit.